Hey, this is Joe from Encodian. So continuing our series on our utility actions, today we're going to have a look at how we can create hash codes, which are typically used to assure the authenticity of data, used in authentication, document validation, signatures, lots of things. But assuming you're looking for the ability to create a hash code within Power Automate, what we're going to focus on here is just how to do that using the Encodian utility connector and the create hash code action. So let's build out a flow. I've got a manual trigger here, and what I'm going to do, let's just add in a string input. We'll just call it data. So we're going to have to use some text on invoking the flow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a variable. I'll just call this data, and let's just set that with that value. There's a reason for this, which will become apparent later on. Let's just see if we can find that data. There we go. The next thing we're going to do is going to create our hash code. So let's just, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do that again. And we'll just show you how to bring up we'll filter it by standard connectors because all of the encoding connectors are standard. And let's just see if we can find the utilities connector is what we're looking for. And there we go. Let's just click see more. And we're looking for the create hashcode action. So let's find, there we go. So there's lots of different options within here. I'm simply going to provide the data that I want to create the hashcode for. So we'll set the variable. I can choose the data type, and this is the data type of the data, if you would. So if it was base64 encoded, I could set that, it would be decoded and then processed. Same for hex or a file being a base64 rendition. We can choose the algorithm we're going to use to create the hash. I'm going to use SHA-256, which is fairly standard. And I'm going to choose the output types, whether I want a hash, whether I want a base64 or hex. So I'm just going to leave the default as hash. And you can see here I've also got the option of setting whether I want the case upper or lower. I'll select upper, and I can change the encoding type from ASCII to UTF-8 and other things if you need to. But typically, you'll just need to provide in the data, accept the defaults, and away you go. Now, let's just give that a test. So we can save, test, and we can show this action working. So let's just do a manual trigger. We'll process the word encodium and create a hash for that. And if I just go to the raw outputs, we should be able to see that hash code value which has been generated there in uppercase. Now, if we wanted to verify this hash code was working, quite simply what we could do just to check that if the data changes, the hash code to change. So let's just see that in action. What we'll do is we'll just edit this flow, and I'm just going to do set variable. Let me just bear with me. Just turn that off. I can't find that today. Absolutely shocking. I'll certainly fast forward this in the video itself. There we go. Set variable. Thank you. Right. We're going to take the data. I'm going to change it to encodium 2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create another action another hash code. So we're going to go into the utilities connector, and we'll select create hash code again. We'll accept all the same defaults. We can set it in upper again, uppercase, and this time we're going to send data in again, but of course it will have changed this time. So now, just for comparison reasons, what we'll do, we'll send an email. We can send this to, just send it to myself, hash code comparison, and we'll just call it number 1, number 2. So number 1, we can select the first hash code that we generated, which is utility hash code there. We'll just select the hash code. And because the variable's been changed, we should see 2 different hash codes there when the email gets received. So let's click save. Test this again. And we can use the same values perfectly fine. Okay. If you ever see the error message, it's just because we've added an additional connector to the action, so we just need to actually manually invoke that again, rather than using existing test data, because we've added a connector to the flow. So let's just do encoding again, run the flow. We'll see that those hash codes have gone through. Just wait for the email to be sent. So let's check email and we can have a look at the difference between those hash codes. Okay, so here's the email. So we can see here, because the underlying data has changed, the hash code values have changed, which is what we'd expect. Now, appreciate this is a very short video, just quickly running through how specifically the encoding actions work, but hopefully gives you everything you need to be able to incorporate that into your own Power Automate and Power Platform solutions. If you do have any questions, then you can email us at support@encoding.com, and don't forget to visit the support portal, which is support.encoding.com.